Hello and welcome to fett8802 plays Final Fantasy X. Just picked up a new Hapag HD PVR today. Allows me to do all sorts of video recording on the computer in high definition. Of course, this is 480i, or 480p rather, and that's just because that's the best the PS2 does, so that's the best we're going to get, unfortunately. I had debated waiting to do this for the high definition collection that's supposed to be coming out in the relatively near future, but I didn't see any hint of that at E3, and that means it probably will be a long time, and I was kind of itching to start a Final Fantasy X playthrough. It's been a long time since I played through it. It's one of my favorite games, and I hope you all enjoy it, and it'll be nice to get it on video for the future. So we'll be starting a new game. I will be leveling to 100, maxing out the sphere grid, or at least I plan on it. For those of you who've never played Final Fantasy X, it's got probably one of my favorite storylines of any media that I've ever played. I will try to keep the commentary sparse, at least during storyline bits. But, so I'll be quiet through the beginning here, and let's enjoy.
Listen to my story. This may be our last chance.
So here we are in Zanarkand, walking around where Titus lives, with a mysterious ghost child. With an excellent upbeat version of the prologue theme. Let's go back in his house. I think there's... Of course, I've got to remember all the controls. It's been years since I've played it. I do explore. I remember generally where all the major chests are and all that stuff and all the boss strategies, but I thought I could go in there. But again, it's been a while, so I may be a little rusty. I hope you'll bear with me.
Can you sign this?
No prob.
I will probably play Blitzball. I don't know if I'll record it all, but I do plan on getting all the ultimate weapons, and to get walkers you've got to beat through all the blitzball tournaments. There is only one ultimate weapon that I've never gotten as I've played through, and it's, oh, I can't remember her name. That's really depressing. The mage.
Good luck tonight.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Nothing to worry about.
To get her ultimate weapon, you've got to
If I score a goal,
dodge 200 lightning strikes in the lightning fields, and I have never been able to have the patience to do it. I've gotten 30 or so and I die, so, well, I get hit with lightning, so we'll see if I have enough patience to do it this time. Maybe we'll have a whole episode dedicated to it, try to figure out if I can do it or not. And you can all laugh at my frustration when I get to 199 and lose.
Gotta go. Cheer for me.
2, 3. Teach us how to blitz.
Hey,
So, for those of you who have not played, blitzball is kind of the national sport of Xanarkand. Well, the world, really. It's kind of an underwater soccer
You can't tonight.
thing.
I mean, tomorrow.
Promise?
Why is he listening to the ghost
Promise.
child? I don't know. And anyway, so Titus is, like, he's the Mark McGuire. He's the #1 person in it. Everybody knows him. Very famous. Used to fame. Kind of see the futuristic setting. There on the wall's an important character. You should remember him. I won't spoil it for those of you who have not played it.
I was in a coffee shop running away from home when I heard the news. Our hero, Jet, gone, vanished into thin air. My dad must have been his biggest fan. I knew how sad he'd be. Heck, we all were that day. Zanar, I says to myself, what are you thinking? I went running straight back home. We sat up talking about Jet all night. My dad and I never talked so much. Whoa, didn't mean to reminisce, folks.
So remember Jacked. I guess I probably should have waited for that guy to talk a little more.
Coming through. Hey, I'm gonna be late. Hey, let go of me.
And now for one of the coolest opening cinematics of all time. I love the opening of this game. destroyed. Hey, look, there's Auron.
Orin! What are
Auron,
you doing
excuse
here?
me. Like some never-ending story.
What are you talking about?
I will leave the subtitles on. I just generally always play with subtitles, and really no matter what I play. If it's got subtitles, I play with it. I'm not sure why, so I will probably leave them on. Ghost Kid can freeze time.
It begins.
What?
Don't cry.
It's very existential. The game throws a lot of mysteries toward the player
What the?
that really don't get untwisted until the very end, which I guess makes sense.
Hey, wait! Hey, not this way!
Look.
Giant floating sphere.
We called it sin.
Sin?
And the ubiquitous Sin Spawn. Forget how many full motion videos there are in this. They're kind of little. 3-second one right there.
Take it.
The weapon design in this game is very awesome. Generally, I like every weapon design.
My old man?
I hope you know how to use it. These ones don't matter. We cut through.
Real difficult tutorial here.
Don't bother going after all of them. Cut the ones that matter and run.
This game's got a real interesting combination between active time battle and kind of a new, on the right there you can see the order in which the battle's going to progress, which adds an interesting layer of strategy as you try to time your moves around different enemies, especially bosses, especially some bosses like the Marlboros. I say bosses, I guess they're just a regular enemy, but some that have really deep strategic battles that require very careful attention paid to that. And it's really easy to get out of that because there's most enemies just you can spam attack through, especially mid-game. But then, you know, toward the end game or when you're doing optional bosses, stuff like that, you really gotta pay attention to that stuff. Especially toward the end of the beast collecting and the breeding and all of that.
Get out of my town!
Some can't wait to die.
Overdrives. When a character's overdrive gauge beneath the MP-HP display is full, that character may use a special unique attack one time. Press left in the command window to use an overdrive. Bushido is awesome. Oh, I've got to remember all of these. Some aren't too bad. Shooting Star is my favorite Bushido that he has. And, of course, course, I don't remember the command now, but I use it so often. When I use it, it shoots really any enemy from the field if done successfully. So when you get to like the adamantoises, giant turtles, oh, I can remember his too. What is it? Oh, what? Good. Kind of pathetic though. You know, so these giant turtles have ridiculous health, and they've got huge defense, so they're a real pain to fight, but by that time, I've got so many upgrades on the sphere grid that Aron's casting Shooting Star like every attack, so I can just knock him out of the field every time. This is one of the few tutorials in a Final Fantasy game where I actually need to use potions at the beginning. Although I guess it's just casting Demi at me, so it can't actually kill me. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't need to use it. So it's cutting off the tails there. I guess we'll have it done in 4 attacks. I will probably do 30-minute episodes, thereabouts, trying to, you know, obviously not just stop in the middle of a battle or something to make it exactly 30 minutes, but to try to find a good mix of times. Let me know in the comments if you want me to put in just straight up leveling episodes, because if I'm going to max the sphere grid, I'm going to need a lot of time just spent leveling, which I understand is not always hugely entertaining to watch. Excuse me. So I wasn't planning on putting that in episodes, I was just going to do that off camera. But if you'd like to see it, or some of it, something
What
like
are
that,
you
then
laughing
let
at,
me
old
know.
man? Arin, let's get out of here.
We're expected.
Huh? Give me a break, man.
We get it, there's a lot of sin spawn. This introduces an aspect of the game that I really enjoy. There's a lot of battles where fighting the enemy is really not even the point. So, you know, I could just endlessly cut through skin scales or sin scales and they'll come back. Or, what I need to do, if I can get over there. Oh, it's not going to let me until Aron tells me to do it? Okay, well, shoot. I was going to impress you with my knowledge. Okay, well, it'll tell me to do it here in a second. Yikes.
This could be bad.
Could be.
That! Knock it down!
What?
Trust me, you'll see.
So, there's several battles in the game that require you to make strategic use of the field of battle. So here we're going to attack this instead of the enemies. And we'll see why. You know, I'm not sure if you can die in this tutorial or not, or what happens. I've never tried. Maybe I should. Interesting.
Whoa! Whoa!
his feet look very much like Kingdom Hearts. Another awesome scene.
Lauren! Lauren!
You are sure? This is it. This is your story. It all begins here. Hey! Hey!
My old man?
I forgot about this part. Weird swimming around in frozen dead Xanarkand.
I thought about a lot of things. Like where I was, what I got myself into. I started to feel lightheaded, and then sleepy. I think I had a dream of being alone. I wanted someone, anyone beside me, so I didn't have to feel alone anymore.
Oh, yes. Alright, this is like the one part of the game I'm not a spectacular fan of. I just kind of want to get to Besaid Island, but we've got a little bit before then.
Anybody there? Aaron! Hey!
Alright, there's a couple chests around here. Gotta remember where they are, though. There's one up there. Can't get around. We come back to this location later, so if I miss any chests, we can look then. Oh, I can dive. As I open the far right side of the chest. Look at that. That will be useful much later. Oh, that's right. I haven't learned
What
any of
do
the...
we have here? Nope, can't read it.
Okay, well, there's a... That's the Albed language, which I don't understand. From previous playthroughs, I have amassed the whole thing, and there's actually a guy in the game, I can't remember where exactly, that he'll look through your saves. So eventually I will have the entire language without having to find it, but only because previous playthroughs have given that to me. Any other chests? Introduction to Albed. Find Albed primers to help you decipher the strange Albed language. Sikter and Arbad Makiakia Paktun Milg. Uv Milg. Albed Completion Sphere scans memory cards for Albed primers and adds them to your collection. Use these spheres to expand your Albed vocabulary. So, now I'm going to compile the whole thing. So, sorry, that's not actually cheating. I did actually find them all at one point. There we go. Okay. Okay, well, let's go back to that Albed sign and see what it had to say about Makalani Woods. And to see if I did actually get the whole thing. I should have. Now I'm sure you're bored. This will actually make the beginning of the game make a lot more sense, because you kind of run into a bunch of Albed, and generally you're like a fish out of water. You don't understand anything they're saying, so. In the land where bolts of light illuminate the blackest night, with Makalani behind, the fourth pillar you sight. Look not on the left, but on the right. Hidden chest in the Thunder Plains, on the left. Okay, so yes, I do know the whole Albed language now. Save sphere. Traveler's save sphere level 1. Stores record of your travels, fully restores HP and MP. We will save. So here's my previous saves. Okay, I want to go down to one so I make sure I don't save over anything else. Save 7. Swimming underwater broke all the ledges, but whatever. Oh, my minimap is gone. Oh, well crud. I didn't want to do this part yet. So much for looking for chests. Excuse me. To hear that battle music again. I'll try not to whistle it. I have a bad habit of whistling the tunes. And one of my favorite aspects of the game, the overkill meter. By the end of the game, if you've power leveled, you're overkilling everything by absurd amounts of health. It just makes you feel really powerful and awesome. Alright, Titus, you are not powerful enough to take that on yet. Run. I find it interesting how adept he is underwater. Which I guess makes sense because he's a blitzball player. But then later in the game, we have other people who are just as adept underwater. It's kind of silly, I guess. I definitely know you need to use potions in this battle to stay alive long enough before you decide to run away. No. I may have just lied about that. And everybody's laughing at me. You don't need to use potions. Let's see how much. If he does another 200, then it's pointless. Okay, I probably didn't need to use potions. Whatever. What do we got? 33 minutes? Okay, there's a safe spot coming up here in a second. And I will probably call it an episode there. Which really bites, we haven't gotten into the meat of the game yet. But I'll get this first episode uploaded and see how the audio levels work on my mic. The only downside to the HD PVR that records the video is that there's no direct line in, so I've got to record the commentary while I play and then mix it over the top, which may or may not work out real well. We'll see.
I had made it out of the frying pan and into the freezer. I thought I was gonna die in this place.
Alright, there should be a safe spot up here. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see where you're supposed to be walking. He's real buff moving all those pillars out of the way. Good grief.
Cold. Need fire.
Alright, well, thank you for watching the first episode, and we